warm welcome to an exclusive podcast series on Govind Kumar. Warm welcome, Govind, and very good morning to you. How are you doing today?
I'm very good, Ravi. Happy to be part of this podcast today.
Thank you. Thank you. So, for the audience, Govind is a business transformation professional with decades of experience in artificial intelligence. He's actually worked in HP and Airtel in leadership roles earlier. He's basically the founder of AI startup branded as SeaportAI, which actually delivers cutting-edge generative AI solutions across industries. Now, in today's podcast, we will actually look at how Govind has transitioned from a large MNC into being an entrepreneur. That's number one. We'll also look at more of midlife crisis and how to really tackle it. Less of AI, more of midlife crisis, and how AI is actually impacting a career transition as such. So these are the topics that we're going to deal with. We also have an overall goal for the episode, Govind, something which we agreed. The title is Midlife Crisis in the AI Age, Reinventing Relevance and Rediscovering Self. So
Sure.
in terms of the themes, there are 5 themes for today. First one, we'll look at the emotional undercurrents of midlife in the AI era. Second talks about preparation, skill sets, and the myth of too late. Third one talks about navigating displacement and reinvention. Fourth one branded as role of organizations, managers, and teams. And finally, we look at Govind's view on inner anchoring and the larger life view. These are the 5 themes, Govind. I think let's kickstart with the first one.
Sure.
Couple of questions there is how does the acceleration of AI and automation intensify the feelings already associated with midlife, loss of identity, irrelevance, or fear of being left behind, Govind?
Yeah. I think overall the structure is good, Ravi. I think the topics that you laid out, right? So we will keep this interactive, and if need be, we can add, cut, so that opportunity is there. AI has really taken off with the emergence of generative AI tools, right? Like ChatGPT. AI was actually accelerating even before that. The digitization actually increased a lot during the COVID time period. Many companies were experimenting. Many companies were indecisive before the arrival of ChatGPT. Now, with the arrival of ChatGPT, we are now seeing the expectation at the other end of the spectrum. Okay, I will say the expectation has become a hype in the sense that AI is being positioned as an all-pervasive tool that can cut cost, increase productivity, in unimaginable levels. Let's understand that AI is definitely cutting edge, revolutionary, but it's not without its set of flaws, right? AI can make mistakes still in the early stages. Because one of the important factors that we use, right, in the business world is the level of accuracy that AI produces, right? It's still there are challenges. We are still far from a stage where we can say that AI is going to take away jobs in a big way. But what we see in the media is that AI is already started to displace people. Right. In my opinion, a lot of excess hiring happened during the COVID period. So whatever is being, shed now, right? The layoffs that are happening are more a result of the excess hiring that happened during the COVID time period, and not necessarily due to AI, because companies are still experimenting with AI. If you see, many companies are only in what is known as the proof of concept experiments. Right? That's what everyone is trying. Of course, some companies are ahead in the curve. Right? So that is the reality. Just because I use ChatGPT, to draft an email, doesn't mean that my organization has embraced AI. Okay, this is something everyone must understand. AI is revolutionary. Every organization should try, because the technology is accelerating at a fast pace. It is, in few years down the road, AI will become, the value add from AI will significantly increase, right? But at this point of time, we need to keep the expectations from AI to realistic levels.
Absolutely.
That is, and this is playing out in the minds of a lot of people. right? Especially, if you're in the IT industry or a large corporate, right? Once you hit late 30s and 40s, unless your career is taking off, you are always viewed as excess baggage, right? For want of a better term, right? I don't mean to hurt anyone, right? But that's how people view, right? This is something that can be offloaded. The resource can be offloaded. And even if the organization is not looking at a 40 something individual as an excess resource, because of the negative perception that is going on around people,
Yeah,
right? The individual starts thinking that he or she is, likely to be displaced, right? So this causes a lot of anxiety, and if you position this with the news that is floating in the media that AI has already started taking over jobs, it is causing a lot of anxiety in people,
absolutely.
right? I think that is the reality that is there,
Sure.
right? AI is a wonderful tool. It is evolving. Okay, it's still making mistakes, evolving, right? In the field of, say, programming and other things, the adoption is more. Okay, but still we are far away, right, from a stage where we can say that AI is going to displace people in big numbers, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, Govind. So, a couple of questions around what you just said. What inner narratives or societal messages actually contribute most to this silent struggle? And media plays its own role, but how can we rewrite them? I mean, this podcast is one way where we actually tell the reality to people across the board. What else we can actually do, Govind, to come up with narratives which actually give reality to the society as such?
Sure. That's an excellent point, Ravi. I think the important message is, uh, don't be psyched by the hype that is going on. Okay. Reskill yourself. AI is there. The impact is there. I'm only saying the impact is not as big as it is made out to be, right? So it's important that individuals reskill themselves. AI is going to be a tool. It is like when internet came, right? The internet became all pervasive. That's how AI is going to be, right? It's the underpinning is going to be very strong. That said, how soon one can reskill, equip oneself, with the relevant knowledge,
Yeah,
right? That is going to define how one manages the midlife crisis.
absolutely, Govind. I think I basically talking more about what you just said, Govind. We've actually done a lot of training modules on AI with a lot of professionals and students as such. I think what you're going to say next is going to be very, very helpful. So let's say I'm a manager around 35, 36 years old, and the crisis has set in, midlife crisis from a career standpoint. But I have not had much of AI experience as such, right? So for such people, and complement that with students who basically getting into the corporate, they do know what AI is. They actually start using a bit of AI tools. Can you tell us from a strategic standpoint, what are the high level topics that we can actually deal with so that people can either maybe come to you for training or, go to other sources to actually get equipped with it?
See, the important thing is generative AI can be learned from a tech perspective and also from a non-tech perspective, right? So that is clearly an opportunity that is there. Okay, and even outside of AI, there are other technologies, which have evolved, right? Like, for example, cloud computing, cybersecurity, even in the space of data analytics, the emergence of tools like Power BI, right? Although Power BI has become quite mainstream, many professionals are still not, trained on that. So how can one embrace these new technologies are not necessarily AI?
Right.
That is the key message that I want to give,
Sure.
right? And let's say if an individual is there in a managerial role, right, not so much technical, what I will suggest is learn about how generative AI can impact that individual. That is one. The other is what are the new things that are happening in the industry,
Yeah.
right? That is very, very important. That is equally important as part of upskilling and reskilling also, because as you know, Ravi, you have been part of an MNC. Once you are there, not necessarily MNC, large organization, you are into people management, you are not in touch with the core technology, you lose touch with technology, right? You don't realize that the world around you has changed so much, right? So unless you are an individual who takes extra efforts, technology upgrade can actually be a surprise.
Absolutely.
Right? And as much as we say, do reskill, do upskill, it's not easy for everyone, right? Some people are wired differently. Some people may want to take a slow and steady approach to career. There are some people who are impatient, who want to learn everything, want to experiment, right? There are different individuals. I think it is important the individuals assess their core strengths and weakness. The change is there. We call it as the VUCA world, right? The volatility, uncertainty, complexity and ambiguity is very, very high in today's world. So it's important for individuals to self-assess, right? This year that I come from, from a neuro-linguistic programming background, right? It's important for individuals to assess where they stand, right? What are their strengths and weaknesses? Where do they see themselves? The individual can even do a SWOT, right? Strength, weakness, opportunity, threat, right? It's not just for PowerPoint slides, to your management about your department or your team, right? It's important the individual does for himself or herself, right? And then assess where do you want to be, how you're going to manage the change, and then bring in the AI element so that you are prepared. Because what I see is people have not done a self-assessment, right? Without a self-assessment, if you're going to talk about upskilling, reskilling, I don't think not everyone has got a flair for programming, right? People say there are a lot of automated tools available in the market, right? But those tools can't deliver the kind of product that you can take it to market.
Absolutely.
It is for experimentation or for hobby purposes. So even to use those automated tools, what we call as vibe coding, right? You just write a sentence, it creates an app. Even for that, you need a lot of technical knowledge because AI makes mistakes, right? So it's important that you have the right skill sets, so that you are able to understand the shortcomings and create a product that adds value to the marketplace. Right. So the bottom line I'm coming to is this upskilling, reskilling, as much as we say is good, right? In fact, I said that, as 2 or 3 things, it doesn't work for everyone, Ravi. Right? We need to understand that. Some individuals are wired differently. So individuals need to take a step back, right? Do a SWOT analysis and also assess what is happening in the industry, right? How all these changes are going to impact them. It's important to take a step back, right? Maybe they could take the help of people, who have done different things in career. So get diverse inputs and take it from there. That's going to be important because if everyone says, okay, get into this, get into this technology, it may not suit everyone, right? That's the reality everyone has to contend with.
Absolutely. 100% agree with you there. Did touch upon these aspects, but I think let me go to the next theme on navigating displacement and reinvention, Govind. So for someone already experiencing career stagnation or displacement due to AI, what's the first step to regain control? That's question number 1. And can reinvention be realistic beyond 45 or 50 in terms of the age? And what are the trade-offs and the unseen advantages, Govind, according to you?
See, as I said, I want to, if you allow me to correct that, right? The AI has not started to displace people yet.
Yeah.
Okay. As I said earlier, the displacement that is happening is due to variety of factors. Probably is being branded as AI. That's a different story, right? So, important thing is, I will say, before you even go and upskill yourself, right? Do a self-assessment. Where do you stand with respect to the overall scheme of things? Because learning something new and career transition is not easy. Like you, we all transitioned out of a large corporate, Ravi, right? From a large organization, took up entrepreneurship. The transition was very difficult. It was filled with a lot of challenges, ups and downs, ambiguities. It's not for everyone. And there have been moments where I've doubted myself.
Yeah.
Right. I thought, I will quit and do something else or go back to corporate career. Right. So transition, into entrepreneurship is not easy. Right. It may look rosy from outside, but it comes with its own set of challenges. Right. So that is where I feel the self-assessment is important, right? So that the individual can make the best use of the opportunities that are presenting.
Absolutely. Thank you. If we look at the role of organizations, managers, and teams, Govind, a couple of questions around them are, what can empathetic organizations and leaders do to support mid-career professionals feeling AI-induced anxiety or obsolescence? That's number one. And should internal mentoring or reverse mentoring be leveraged to bridge generations and digital gaps? To an extent, you touched upon it, but if you can expand on that, Govind.
No, I think mentoring is very, very important, Ravi. I think it's important organization bring in outside people, right? Because they can bring the new insights, prepare them for the transition. Organization invest a lot in training. If you see people train employees on conflict management, first time manager training, they call it as leadership development. All sorts of trainings happen, but rarely do we touch upon this mentoring aspect. What individuals need is some kind of one-on-one mentoring where they can share their anxieties and carve out a path, right? And create a plan, because an outside help will definitely help, will definitely make a difference. So mentoring is crucial, but if you run a large organization, you also have the practical challenge, right? If let's say someone is managing a 5,000 member organization, can you provide mentoring to 5,000 people? That's a very difficult and time consuming and will cost a lot of money as well, right? So somewhere a wire media needs to be worked out, right? So that individuals are encouraged to understand the reality, explore options, because important thing I feel is to have multiple options, right? It's not one thing. If you want to try something out of what you have already done, it's important to have multiple options so that you can evaluate and take which one works best for you.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. And the last theme basically is on inner anchoring and larger life view. So, Govind, beyond upskilling, how does one reconnect with a sense of purpose and meaning when everything familiar seems to be shifting? That's number one. And what role does values or community or spirituality or coaching play in healing and reinventing during midlife transitions, according to you?
I think probably this is the most important of all the topics. I feel, Ravi, right? It's being grounded is important. I'm because of my background, in neurolinguistic programming and other modalities. A theme that I like the most is gratitude. Right. It's important that one expresses gratitude in his or her own way for what you have got, right? So that you prepare yourself for transition, right? You look at the Indian system, talks a lot about gratitude, although the Western world has used this term and popularized this more than others, right? So I will even say, if I may suggest, as an exercise, Ravi, some kind of a gratitude journal, right? Every day, thank your life, people who have helped, your friends, colleagues, for what you have achieved, for where you are in life, right? Because the thought process is, if you recognize that there are more things that you have to be grateful for, the universe will bring more things to you, right? To be grateful for. So it's important that one develops an attitude of gratitude. That is important. The second one is being prepared to fail, right? We all make mistakes. AI makes mistakes, right? We will fail, right? It's important. The resilience is important, right? You get up and go, go and run, right? One mistake or one career setback doesn't define who you are, right? So it's important that individuals pursue that attitude of experimentation. That is, I feel, is equally important, and that is where the role of mentor becomes important, because today I find many people are kind of suffering in silence, right? Because it's not easy if you're a high flying executive, right? In an MNC, you're in your early 40s. Let's say you're a senior vice president or an executive vice president. You know that your job is on the blocks, right? How are you going to manage that? I know there are a few friends that one can reach out to. The world looks different. It's changed. So it's important that individuals connect with mentors, people who have experimented. That's something that can help in a big way. Important thing is experimentation, being prepared to fail, right? I think these two are important skill sets, which may not be easy for high flying managers and executives from large MNCs and large corporates, right? Because your trajectory has been on an upward track. Now you feel some stagnation is coming, right? And how are you going to manage that? It's easier said than done. It's easy to say that have a mentor, reskill, assess, right? But to go through the grind, right, is very, very difficult, because that's where the self-doubt comes, right? That is where the support system makes a difference.
Absolutely, Govind. And I want to take advantage of the fact that I think both of us had got similar kind of journeys where we worked in corporates and then came into entrepreneurship. You did touch a bit in terms of how the journey was, but I actually want to ask you a few more questions there, Govind, if you have the time.
Sure.
Yeah. So, from the corner office to the founder's desk, the identity shift, we are going to explore that now. I'll also pitch in, Govind. So, what does it feel like to leave a high-ranking role in a large MNC and start over as a founder in the AI space at Midlife? The reason why I ask that question is many people actually think that being a founder is the most exciting thing ever. And after having worked for 10, 15, 20 years inside in a corporate, people actually dream of becoming founders. And once they come in outside to the world, they realize it's not an easy job as such. Both of us had kind of a similar kind of journeys, and I want you to please go ahead and take your time. Give me some examples which actually happened in reality. And this particular segment is going to be very, very important for those professionals sitting in the AC chairs inside corporates, thinking of launching themselves as a founder. So let's give a bit of a reality to them. And second question is that how do you deal with the shift in identity from being the decision maker in a system to becoming a builder without a safety net? These are the two questions I want you to explore, Govind.
The first and foremost thing is, once you start something on your own, you don't have a large organization backing you, right? When you go, you say that, hey, I'm going from this MNC, Fortune 100 MNC. Hey, I'm Ravi from this Fortune 50 bank, something like that. You don't say that, right? You start literally from scratch. And building the first few customers is very, very difficult. Because why should someone give you an order? You may have connections, you may have built the great networks, but those were for you with the tag of a large MNC. It is not for you with a startup, right? That is very, very important. Because, to get the first order, you want to go and get an order from a large organization, you have to become part of the authorized supplier list. That in itself is a huge process. Unless you are working on a cutting edge technology where a large organization is willing to take a risk, it becomes very difficult for a young entrepreneur, right? I'm saying young because you are starting off, right? You may be in your 40s, right? Young entrepreneur, to get a break, right? So that is the first and foremost challenge. The second challenge is manpower. When you are working for a large organization, right? Let's say you have budgeted, an X number, and you find someone who is really good, but that individual is asking for, let's say, 30% more. What you will do, you will go speak to your manager and say that, hey, this is an excellent resource. This individual can make a huge difference to our organization, to the team, but he's asking for 30%. Can you go and pitch for 30%. Can you get a special approval? We will try to squeeze somewhere else, right? Invariably, if you have a good relation with your manager, the manager will go and get the approval, right? Maybe the manager wants to see that individual, okay, wants to make sure this individual is really top class, right? But once everyone is convinced, everyone in the system works to get that individual on board, right? But here you cannot, right? You know that individual is the best fit, but you cannot offer because you are working on a constraint. Right? You can only, once you have decided on a number, even to offer that number, is a challenge in itself, right? Especially in the initial days.
Absolutely.
Okay. So building the team, winning the first few customers are very, very difficult process. Okay. So it's important to start small, pursue in a small way, right? Show proof of concept, build a relationship, right? Go the extra mile, and then slowly, once you build 5 customers, 10 customers, then the journey becomes easier.
Absolutely, Govind. I want to pitch in here, okay?
Yeah.
I want to share the blunders which I did. It will be very useful for everyone. So this was 2016 and when I moved out of Wells Fargo, and it took around 4-5 months for me to figure out that maybe I want to get into entrepreneurship. The bug actually started off even before I started working with him. So 99, 2000, this was when Sabir Bhatia sold off the Hotmail to Microsoft for hundreds of crores, whatever it is. The next venture was Arzu.com, where technical problems used to be put on a portal, and then you can bid on those. And if the solution is right, they give you $25, $50, how much ever you actually bid. So in 2 months span of time, in 99, 2000, in a local cafe in Anandbagh in my area, for 2 months, I was actually just sitting, maybe around 10 hours. I took a package. They used to packages for the internet as such, the number of hours. So I was trained in Visual Basic and all of 2000, looked for those kind of problems and then started bidding $5, $10, $15. For 2 months, I earned $930. And the bank manager at Bank of Maharashtra was praising my dad, saying that, what is your son doing? He's getting so many dollars from US. These kids in Hyderabad, even though they work hard, they're getting 5,000, 6,000. This guy is getting, 40, 45,000 in 2 months. The dad was happy in which way. But they had to shut it down.
The exchange rate was so low at the time.
Absolutely. They literally had to shut it down. But I made merry 45,000 and I kind of got the furniture, actually bought it. It's still there after what, 25, 26 years, the furniture is still there, showing me the power of internet and giving me the confidence that without an MNC, I can earn. So that confidence was there even before I joined HSBC. So a bug was there, I can, live by myself without attached to an MNC. Anyway, got attached to MNC, HSBC, 10 years I worked in HR, 2004, so I was into learning and development, then moved to Wells Fargo, into L&D, became a manager, a lot of promotions here and there. 2016, actually 2012, when I came out of HSBC, there was a small span of 3 weeks where I thought, I was basically a senior soft skill trainer, and I could actually see a lot of these freelancers coming and then training and then earning pretty well. So per training per day, 5,000, 10,000, 15,000. So I actually multiplied, even if I have, 10 trainings a month, 10 into 5, 50,000 or whatever, 60, 70,000. It was good enough in 2012, good money. So I almost tried to incorporate the firm, and within that, Wells Fargo happened. One of my friends referred to me and the interviews happened, and then got the offer, which was enticing, far, far better than what I had in HSBC with real good bonus. So went there again, worked for 4.5 years, and then came out 2016, September 30th, last day of Wells Fargo came out. Took some time to figure out in terms of, what I want to do, try to apply here and there. Nothing really worked out, but, started off Sayakiti 2017, June 15th, incorporation, OPC. Now, what do I know about business? I don't even know the spelling of business. So, nor do I have an ecosystem of friends who were into business. All of my friends are corporate. For 15 years, I worked in corporate. Do they know anything about business? Nothing. So, I came out with the gratuity money. I took on an office for rent without any business plan, without knowing what I'm going to do. I just went ahead, rented around a 1,300 SFT space near my place in a private area. Around 25,000 was the rent, another 10,000 for maintenance, 35,000 for what? No business plan. And what I did with my money, build it up in such a way. I actually wanted to give the corporate feel. So I didn't like the normal tables and all. I literally made the carpenters come and spend really lakhs to ensure that the learning experience is good. Now, all of this I did with my own money, no VC money anywhere. So burnt all my money over there without a business plan. 6 months into the business, I knew it was not working. Nor did I have anyone to actually tell me this is not how business is done. But in the hard way, I learned. Then I learned on the ropes. I mean, that is something which is powerful as a founder because no one advises, right? Neither do they come to invest. They will actually say it's not working, go back to corporate. That's about it, right? In terms of friends, the second aspect I want to talk is about real friends. Two friends stood by me, Papa. Not that they gave money, but moral support was there, which was so essential for an entrepreneur. Now, we don't need money, right? I mean, we are willing to spend our money on the venture because we are passionate about it. But we need someone to talk to, someone to actually say, okay, if times are hard, we're also there with you. That's about moral support is needed. No one supports there. And I've started writing on LinkedIn. The reason why I started writing on LinkedIn is in 15 years, I've got a number of hundreds of friends. From hundreds of friends, I had just two who stood by me. And I was thinking, why is that others are not talking? I'm calling them, no answers. So gave me a reality check. Who are the real friends, right? That's number two. And slowly, as I learned the ropes to actually understand and get to know people like you, and then our journey went on for 5 years where we did some kind of training. I'm not saying we made pros. Maybe we made some money over there, but the respect was there because both the journeys were kind of similar. You had a company, you had a product in place. I was basically I was a what should I say? I was good at networking. I could actually make out who can be good for my business. So from a data analytics, I had you. From a cybersecurity, I had someone else who actually stood by me. And 2020, if you look at it, the kind of trainings we did, COVID year was the top year in terms of dollars. Internet of Things with Python with one person, artificial intelligence, machine learning training with the Saudi guys, the US guys, and the India guys. Went on to do a lot of batches. On top of that, we were into some digital learning and stuff like that. But that's when it literally started off, where we were some money was getting credited in the bank without any kind of tax as such, and slowly on the ropes we learned whom to trust, whom not to trust, and stuff like that. So my journey was very raw, where I didn't know, and I was surprised when my university reached out to me asking me, "Can you be a mentor for founders?" And I thought, okay, what can I teach these guys? And I realized there's so much to teach because you learned on the ropes by yourself, not in the textbooks, nor in Harvard, nor in ISB. What you have learned is real life situations to manage. And those guys had so much of value in terms of what I was telling, and they took it all. Two of
Yeah,
them got funding,
I
and
right. See, I want to add, right? You touched upon, you launched without planning, right? It happens for many people. They have a perfect plan, but it doesn't work out, right? So you don't have to feel bad that
I'm better of this.
right, you're better off, right? So that is the reality of business. That is the reality of the world,
Yeah,
right? So and even if it was working, right? COVID came. It changed the dynamics for a lot of people. How they adapted is important, right?
absolutely.
So in business, right, and change is happening at a very fast pace. So its adaptability is key. That is the most important skill set. And corporate careers, I feel sometimes can even be a disadvantage, Ravi,
Yeah.
right? If you have had a very successful corporate career, the transition to entrepreneurship
Right.
is difficult.
No, absolutely right. I mean, I was talking to some of these friends of mine who are also leaders of different companies, and they say the same thing because the corporate, even though they talk about innovation, they won't, try to execute the kind of innovation you want to, right? It's basically in a very limited kind of way. And what I realized when I came out of the corporate is it's not true innovation, really, if you look at it. They use all the buzzwords of values, mission, and stuff like that, only to entice the population within the 2 lakh, 3 lakh population for that particular entity, which are spread across the entire world, 60 countries or 100 countries they're into. But once you come outside, you actually realize what exactly is the value, what exactly is the vision and mission as such. So I think being in the corporate, as you very rightly said, it's a disadvantage. I mean, it's a real
Being successful
disadvantage.
in the corporate.
Absolutely. If you're very highly successful and getting 20-30% and promotions every other year, and you come out saying that, okay, I am a big boss, let me actually do business.
The
So,
reality will strike you. Reality will strike you hard.
absolutely. Absolutely
Right?
good.
The
I think,
other thing is, in a large organization, right, you have a large team to support you. In a
yes,
startup, you don't have that luxury.
correct.
You, especially in the initial days, you have to do a lot of things yourself.
Yeah.
That can be very difficult for a lot of people,
No, absolutely.
right? You have everything set, let's say you have to make a presentation to a potential investor. You have to make the presentation all by yourself,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
In your corporate, you have someone to create the presentation, someone to verify, someone to create the talking notes, maybe,
Correct.
right? You then go through, have a review, you ask for changes to be made, and then you go and make the presentation. But that's not the case, right? It's a rough world, right? Very different, unstructured. One needs to be agile, be prepared to embrace uncertainty. That's why I said, even if someone has got a great plan, right? Every chance that plan will not work out, and even if it is working out for a year, the second year it will not work, right? So how are you going to manage with all that with the limited resources,
Yeah.
right? Huge competition that is coming, uh, technology changing very fast.
Yeah.
How are you going to adapt to all of that? So not easy, right? But we still brave it out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Lovely talking to you today. So we covered, themes on emotional undercurrents of midlife in the AI era. We looked at preparation skill sets in the myth of too late. We looked at navigating displacement, and you did define what displacement myths are and reinvention. We also looked at role of organizations, managers, and teams, and the importance of inner anchoring the larger view of life. And the fun piece was the corner office to founders desk, where actually we tried to share our view in terms of how our journeys were from working in a corporate for 15 years or 20 years, and coming out as founders as that. So it's been great talking to you. I think, Govind, it works very well. The podcast works very well, I think, when two people know each other uh, outside the recording per se. Because you open up and talk what you actually want to, and with other leaders you can't be as free as we were. So lovely podcast. I
I,
really loved. Yeah, and
I
any
think we should do more, Ravi. That's what I
sure,
feel.
sure, absolutely. We'll look at different topics and come back. It's going to be a lot of fun, Govind. So thanks a lot for your time today. I think we'll meet up with another topic very soon, Govind. Thanks so much. Any
So,
concluding words? Did you really like it or not like it? And let's conclude after that.
no, I think we covered everything. As I said, self assessment is important,
Sure.
right? Being prepared to fail. In fact, in the startup world, lean startup, we say fail fast, right? That's important, right? Being agile, being able to change course so that you achieve are very important skill sets, right? And entrepreneurship is not for everyone. I think that's another important message. I don't know whether we laid out this clearly, but I want to use this
Sure.
concluding time to say that, right? It's
Absolutely.
not for everyone. You don't have to feel bad if it is not working out for you. That is why having multiple options is important.
Absolutely, Govind. Thank you. Thank you so much for signing off very nicely. I think we'll meet up once again. Thank you so much for.
Sure. Thank you.